KTN News. Get the whole story.
The free Wi-Fi project will help the people of Ahero to access online services offered both by the county government and the national government, and will go a long way in enhancing online trade and youth empowerment programs that depend on the internet.
As usual, sina maoni. I told you we'll bring this home during Christmas. Na tukakuletea kikombe kikwetu. Na sasa tunakuletea krisi kikwetu.
Your shopping celebration of the year imefika with Team Naivas. Krisi kikwetu. Kila Mkenya ni mshindi.
Majamas, yani mko mtaani buying just like that? It's time to play Instameter and you could win up to 10 million shillings instantly. The game is quite easy. Simply send the word news to SMS number 24977 to play. Don't just Zuba. Play Instameter today and get a chance to win millions. Over 18s only. Gaming is addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been authorized by the BCLB. License number 880.
Before starting a journey, ensure you are well rested and take breaks if tired. Remove stalled vehicles from the road as soon as possible. Always place proper warning signs to alert other motorists. For your safety and that of other road users, look out for road signs all along the road. Usalama barabarani ni jukumu letu sote. This message is brought to you by NTSA and the European Union.
KTN News. Get the whole story.
It's the unthinkable. Nearly 1 million Rohingya refugees have been driven out of their homes and villages in Myanmar into neighboring Bangladesh. It is by far one of the world's largest humanitarian crises today.
The Rohingya are descendants of the ancient Southeast Asian kingdom of Arakan. Its borders face the Bay of Bengal to its west, the Indian subcontinent to its north, and Burma proper to its east, isolated by the Arakan Mountains and accessible primarily by sea.
In the 8th century, Muslim traders brought Islam to Arakan, where the religion spread. In the 18th century, Arakan was conquered by the neighboring Burmese people.
Until recently, the descendants of the Arakan, now known as the Rohingya, lived isolated from the majority Buddhist population in what is now called the Rakhine state of Myanmar.
But Myanmar denied Rohingya the right to citizenship, their basic rights to study, work, or access to health services were severely restricted. Beginning in 2012, Western leaders started to take notice.
In Rakhine State, we see the danger of continued tensions there.
Then, in August 2017, tensions between the Rohingya and the Burmese boiled over. Rohingya rebels attacked Myanmar security forces. The military quickly counterattacked.
The violence against civilians has forced more than 500,000 people to flee for their lives.
Hundreds have been killed. At least 200 villages have been burned to the ground.
The word is genocide.
We must shine a spotlight on these accounts of ethnic cleansing.
This is the story behind the catastrophic humanitarian crisis affecting Southeast Asia and the story of the people trying to help the Rohingya.
Look around me. This river, it's part of the border between the nation of Bangladesh and the nation of Myanmar. It's a short distance from the Rohingya refugee camps. And this is one of the border locations where many desperate Rohingya refugees, under the most unthinkable conditions, cross this river, fleeing for their lives. There are about 1 million Rohingyas here in Bangladesh. They're living in very tough conditions with very uncertain futures. Not every Rohingya was able to escape to Bangladesh. Many, numbers unknown, were murdered, slaughtered. The United Nations has identified these vicious acts as ethnic cleansing. You've heard the phrase, never again. But those words ring hollow here. It has happened again to the Rohingyas.
They came one of the groups to our village and then came to our markets and they looted all of the expensive things and then they set fire.
Also, they come into our village and shooting the everywhere, just firing like shooting the like this on fire. No meet, no discuss, no question, just shooting.
When Mohib Bullah's village was attacked, he traveled for 8 days to reach safety. I have heard that there was killings, shootings, killings with machete, rapes of women.
Yes.
Do you know anybody who was killed by machete, shot, or raped?
Yeah, a lot of people we know.
When they brought in our villages and the market, that time I saw with my own eyes.
Did you see anyone killed with your own eyes?
Yes. One of my villagers also killed on the way.
Running and got shot?
Yeah.
Kasim was a school teacher in his home village where he can trace his family history back at least 4 generations.
My family is also one of the brothers who were killed by the Burmese government.
So you're taking care of your brother's child, your sister-in-law, your brother's wife?
Yes.
How do you deal with this?
I love him very much. No, I am taking care of him. He is my daughter's child.
Why do you think that the Myanmar military did this?
The government trying the whole country to be Buddhist.
So this is a religious dispute?
Religious. It is the religious thing. They're trying to be Buddhist country. All will be Buddhist.
I heard several stories like this, claiming that the attacks were religiously motivated, Buddhist on Muslim, and calculated to drive out the Rohingya. No government confirms that story, but the Rohingya here believe it.
I had to leave my children in the midst of firing and chaos. What could I do?
So she was in her home when the military of Myanmar showed up. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
What happened to the village?
The village was burned. As the houses were set on fire, a lot of the people could not get out. Some were hacked to death, or their bodies were lit on fire. Little children were thrown away violently.
How did you get separated from your 2 children?
In Myanmar, our home was attacked suddenly by gunfire. That moment, I escaped through an open door, and I grabbed one of my children who was close to me. Soon I saw my whole house was on fire. I do not know what happened to the others. There was no way to know who was shot or who was butchered. I could not find out.
I just can't even imagine how hard this is. I almost don't know what to say to you. I'm at a loss for words.
My son was 5, my daughter 7.
What's her name, in case anyone is watching?
Shahida.
And what is your son's name?
Mahmoud Hassan.
So for now, the new home for the Rohingya is in neighboring Bangladesh, the Kutupalong refugee camp. What was once a lush forest is now a sprawling slum that reaches out for miles.
I had no idea how big it was going to be, so seeing just how huge the camp was, just on and on and on with all of the people, that was kind of my first impression, was just the huge scope of it. Like, I'd heard about it, you see the statistics, you see the numbers, but to be here in person and seeing how extensive it is, that's something completely different. Like, once you get in, besides just looking at the physical stuff, looking at like the people, the feel of the camp when I walk through it, there's just this sense of a lot of people that are just kind of surviving, not really living, just kind of getting by day to day.
An initial settlement of refugees already existed here, but after the violence in August of 2017, the camp started to grow by enormous numbers. When they arrived, the Rohingya had no homes, no shelters, no source of heat for cooking. But what the land held was trees, and one by one they were cut down. The trees that held the hillsides became campfires and shelters that now stretch to the horizon. Kaylin Briggs is an American who has worked in 5 countries in the last 5 years. She is now with World Vision, a relief agency which is active here. She has seen the growth.
When we had this massive population influx last August, we had to expand the area where those people were living. So what we're in now is called the expansion camp. So it's basically a much larger camp that's built sort of around the original site.
All right. Any idea what the population of the expanded camp is? About?
It's over 600,000.
Of the expanded camp, that would include the original camp too?
That doesn't include the original camp. So,
oh, it does not?
No. So if you include the original camp and all of the little bits around it, we're up to around 900,000 people. So this is the largest refugee camp in the world.
But they are cut off. They cannot leave the camp. Officially, the Bangladesh government has even put restrictions on the sale of SIM cards to refugees for their cell phones, citing security precautions. Formal education is not allowed. Some organizations sponsor language lessons for children, but not in the local trade language, Bengali. Though there is little to do, there are few sources of entertainment, no television, limited internet, and only weak radio signals with little information in the Rohingya language. Since refugees don't have work permits, they are officially not allowed to have jobs. It's fertile ground for the breeding of extremists and terrorism.
We often say in these types of emergencies that idleness is one of the biggest threats. When people have too much time, when they don't have the opportunity to work or do things, that's when we start seeing risks go up in camps.
Kids are kids, and they try to keep busy. And while the Rohingya may not be able to fill proper jobs, it doesn't stop them from working. You do find some computers in use here and there, but I'm told that their usage also requires permission from authorities in the camps. So no work, no schooling, no movement, not much of a life. No one not governments, not relief workers, and least of all the Rohingya themselves, knows how long they will be here and when or if they will ever be able to return home. And there's more. Another pressing, potentially disastrous enemy has come to the Rohingya.
Here comes the rain.
Yeah, we can go there.
What? Can I get under your thing for a second? This is what the million people, the million Rohingyas in this refugee camp are having to put up with. This is the monsoon season. This is a crisis on top of a crisis. It is raining like crazy. It's not going to stop raining. This is no ordinary rain. This is a monsoon. And what's happening, what's already happened is there are mudslides. But that's not where it stops. I mean, look, here's a latrine, but the latrines are filthy. And what happens is they make the water filthy. There's water running all the way through. You can see the water underneath me. It just doesn't stop raining. And it's just a breeding ground for all sorts of diseases. You've got cholera and so many other diseases that come when you have filthy water. And that's just the beginning. But how can anyone expect these people to get food to live? How can you expect their structures to stand up? And now the structures are literally going to wash down upon each other. Bridges are washing away. This is what the spotlight needs to be put on, because these people are desperate. But it's only going to get worse.
The danger is clear to relief workers like May Sepan of Food for the Hungry and Medical Teams International.
Essentially, their settlements are built on what appears to be sand dunes because they're deforested lands that have no way of protecting the population against the monsoon rains. And so it's very likely that most of these settlements will get washed out as the rains increase and the storms become more intense.
We identified something like 200,000 people are at risk from landslides with this heavy monsoon. It's almost like a race against time.
Shelley Thackrow gave up a career as a journalist to work in crisis environments just like this one.
We've been trying to really move families as fast as we can to flatter, safer land, so relocated to a part of the camp which has been flattened, but also so that safer shelter can also be built.
I walked the camp with Rebecca Derry, the country representative for Samaritan's Purse, a U.S.-based Christian relief organization. Dozens of agencies from all over the world, including the United States, have sent teams to the camp to help the Rohingya. They're providing medical care, shelter materials, food, and dozens of other relief services. The camp is too large and the need too great for just one agency to handle it all. They've split Kutupalong into a number of smaller camps where individual charities take responsibility.
What is this camp called? Where this is still the Camp 12?
Yes.
20,000 plus live here?
20,000 plus.
And you can see how all the houses or homes are built into this hilly terrain. So when the monsoon starts in earnest, it creates a horrible danger.
Absolutely.
So what's to protect these houses from pancaking on top of each other?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
While I was in Camp 16, I met Fatima. When her family fled from Myanmar, her husband was killed. Her son lives in the camps, but is so traumatized that I'm told he just roams around aimlessly. She was helped by CARE.
When we first reached Bangladesh, we took shelter at the bank of a river, but there was land erosion. Then some representatives from CARE told us that there were some new shelters being built further inland. They advised us and then helped us move here.
But for every person like Fatima, there are dozens of others needing immediate help. The needs come flooding in every day, every hour, every minute.
Every single moment the crisis builds. This is interesting. Here comes an ambulance. Before I was talking about how dangerous it is, how do you get cars in to help people? This is an ambulance. Hello, sir. It's very dangerous up there. You might want to drive slow.
I can go.
I don't know if you can go or not. They say that, but I don't know. You'll be the first to go through, and it's pretty narrow. Why don't you get out of the car and go look at it?
I have patient already.
You have a patient in there? Do you have a patient in there?
Yeah. And I have a patient.
Where are you trying to get it to patient to? To the hospital right there. We're up on the hill. See, this is what the danger is. This is an ambulance. And when I say something new happens every 5 minutes, before I was talking about how the road washed down, how dangerous it was. Now we've got a patient in an ambulance trying to get to the hospital up there. And this road is supposedly repaired, but even my own weight, I can push the soil down. Wait till the rain comes. I don't know what happens when heavy vehicles go through. Every time you turn around, there's another bigger crisis. And you wonder, how much more can these people endure? How much more? And it just doesn't stop.
For the refugees, it's a perfect storm. Persecution, mudslides, idleness, disease. While there is much that is good that is being done here, this camp has also become a target for those who would come to prey on the Rohingya. The Kutupalong refugee camp in Bangladesh is just across the river from the home of the Rohingya. The Myanmar military has driven nearly 1 million Rohingya to this camp.
Textbook ethnic cleansing.
The international community has condemned the government for the violence against Rohingya civilians that amounted to what the United Nations termed as ethnic cleansing.
Every woman or girl I spoke with reported having either endured or witnessed sexual violence.
It is imperative that the international community take decisive measures to address this grave crisis.
Most have little or nothing to go back to. Their homes and villages have been destroyed.
We are struggling. We need resources fast.
It's a humanitarian crisis, only made worse by the monsoon rains. The Rohingya here are caught in limbo. They cannot have jobs, there are no schools, there are few sources of information. They sit idle, unhappy, and largely dependent on aid supplied by international governmental and non-governmental organizations who have sent good people to help.
One child.
But besides those who bring relief, others are drawn to the camps to take advantage of the crisis. As so often happens, the victims are victimized a second time. Most vulnerable are women and young girls who are targeted by traffickers to be lured or taken and used for forced labor or sex.
I discovered traffickers after sunset. 5 o'clock, there is no foreigners and no locals allowed.
I met with a human rights activist in nearby Cox's Bazar. Ali Kabir had worked in agriculture his whole life. He says he could no longer remain silent while others were suffering at the hands of some Rohingya who themselves had fled years before.
Only old Rohingya, those who are registered here since 1978, 1991, old Rohingyas, they are staying in Bangladesh, they know everything. Then every rules, they are very familiar with Bangladesh culture. Human traffickers hiding them. And they go inside the camp and talk with the families, convince them that they were going to provide a good job, better future, better life abroad, and better opportunities like this.
So the people that are involved in the trafficking are Rohingyas who have been here in Bangladesh long before
the latest exodus of Rohingyas from Myanmar?
Yep.
So you're talking the population that's doing the trafficking are Rohingya who have been here in Bangladesh for a number of years.
Yes, they are become a broker of the big trafficking network.
How do they get the women out of the camps? Because the Bangladesh government won't let the Rohingyas leave the camps. I mean, the Rohingyas who came over from Myanmar in the last year and a half can't leave the camps. So how do the brokers get them out of the camps?
Well, ma'am, I tell you, here in Bangladesh have no system in checkpost. In checkpost, they check only Bangladesh NID card, national ID card, and human traffickers obtain fake national ID card.
He also showed me pictures of the women he says were victims. So she's Rohingya.
Yes.
From the refugee camp, and they were going to sell her or bring her out of the country.
Yes.
What was she getting paid? Do you know? And what was the offer?
Offer was providing her in a beauty parlor job abroad, Malaysia, Thailand, and providing her, in a job in a factory.
Did you ever speak to her parents or her family?
Yeah, I speak to her parents. They was very in shock after they learned a real story, real thing.
So they thought it was a legitimate deal that she was going overseas for this career?
Yes.
Did any of them get emotional?
They just requested me not to tell this thing to the other people because her future will be dark.
Future in terms of getting a husband or future employment?
Not husband.
Husband, really?
And, husband, and the community will not let them live in peace.
So it's a very much a cultural thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the people who are going to insult them they will not get a well respect, and they will not get sitting with the other relatives. They're going to hate her. They will look at her in a very, in a bad eyes.
Are Rohingya families protesting about this or complaining? Are they saying anything if a member of their family, goes off into some sex trade?
Well, ma'am, where they're going to protest? There is no any proper place where they can go submit a complaint, where they can go seek a legal process, where they can go seek justice, where they can go.
I was in a forced marriage for 8 months. I was told the army could take me away by force. It would be better if I got married in order to save my honor. Since my mother is blind, she agreed to marry me off. We had just arrived in Bangladesh for the first time. We didn't know anything about the place. We didn't know the laws or the rules. We came here with a lot of fear from all the violence.
They are very helpless, hopeless. There was no police. They're in the camp, nothing, and there was, in a fear, and they given the daughter to him.
So she goes with him. Was she crying or screaming or upset or agreeable? I mean, what?
She don't want it to him.
I was so fearful. I'm just a teenager. But they grabbed my neck and I was so scared. That's why I was crying a lot. I was so upset. My mom said God has not given permission. But those people said it was God's will to get married to that man. My mom turned to me and told me to just accept my fate.
And where he can go ask protection. And the parents said, I'm sorry, we are helpless. He is going to kill us and we have to give my daughter to him.
This man came and took her, and I guess took her, is that for sex?
Marry her.
Or this would be wife number 3.
Yeah, marry her. Later, when the first wife pressuring him, he let her.
So we let her go.
They let her go. This Rohingya girl have no value.
No value.
No value.
Because she's Rohingya.
Yes.
Zero.
Zero.
And there's something else the Rohingya here don't talk about. When the Burmese military attacked, they didn't just kill and set houses on fire. They raped. And the victims of those rapes are here now. They face a terrible stain that their own culture puts on them and on their newborns.
We're seeing a lot of women that are coming in right about now that have voiced to us that the babies are a result of rape.
Sarah Rawlings is a nurse from Seattle, Washington. She both treats and counsels the victims. The challenges she faces are heartbreaking.
It's a really hard one. We've seen some pretty dire things happen as a result of unwanted pregnancies.
Are the women having babies in their homes?
Yeah, many of the women are having babies in their homes. I'd say the majority are having babies in their homes and are not coming in here. Just the other week, one of our community health workers found a baby that had been left in a latrine, was still alive, but covered in feces. They've been actually trying to track down and find the woman, but since the baby has been taken in to another organization and they're feeding the baby and trying to offer support and find community members that can help raise the child.
So they expect this child to survive that was found in the feces in the latrine?
I believe the child right now is at a Doctors Without Borders hospital.
Is that an unusual situation? Are you finding other situations where women are trying to either terminate their pregnancies or having difficult births, or are you finding more of that?
We're seeing more and more, and we've had several, probably 20 plus women that I've spoken with since I've been here that have told me they want to terminate their pregnancy and that they don't want the child and that the child is a result of rape.
Rohingya culture is very complicated. Even the rape victims, those who have been raped by Myanmar military, you know what they say? Oh, she have a evil in her belly. Stay away from her.
If you've been raped by the Myanmar
military, they were saying evil in her belly. Stay away from her. I want to talk with one pregnant from the rape. Other Rohingyas advising me, sir, please don't talk to her. She have an evil in her belly.
What happens after the baby's born?
She have no place in the society of Rohingya.
Zero, none.
Zero, yes. Her life is dark, and everybody comes to know. A lot of Rohingya girls, those who have been raped by the Myanmar military, they're hiding. They're hiding, they're suffering quietly, silently. They don't want to expose, they don't want to say. They don't want to say nothing.
So what do we do? What can we do? What's next for the 1 million people who seem to want little more than to go home? More than a year after this crisis began, there's a lot that seems normal in the Kuta Palong refugee camp. You see it best when the rain stops and the sun comes out. There's now something of an economy here and a social structure familiar to the Rohingya. Because communication with the outside is so difficult, when news comes in, it spreads like wildfire from person to person. It's not always 100% accurate, but it's a way for the Rohingya to believe they are not being forgotten. The one nation that is focused on the Rohingya is the host country, Bangladesh. But even though the country is devoting resources and energy, it seems clear Bangladesh does not want the Rohingya to remain. In fact, the Bangladesh government only reluctantly calls them Rohingya, preferring the term forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals. That's a reminder that this is all temporary. Myanmar says it will welcome back the refugees, but in refugee camps, not their villages. And even if that occurs, the government of Aung San Suu Kyi says they will still be denied citizenship and officially remain stateless under the Myanmar Constitution. They will still be stigmatized. People here doubt that without international intervention, they will ever see their home villages again.
When you talk to people in the camp, they say they want to go home. They are absolutely clear about that, but they will tell you, we want to go home when it's safe to do so and when we are able to access our rights in Myanmar. And so far, we haven't seen much progress, and they tell us that they haven't seen much progress in seeing conditions improve for them. And so I think that's, from our point of view, where we really do need to see governments like the US stepping up not just the financial assistance, but also the diplomatic engagement to try to come up with a solution to this crisis that enables people to eventually be able to return to their homes in a safe and voluntary way.
If there's any sort of silver lining in this cloud, is that you really are inspired by the people who are here, who are really trying to help so many who are in desperate need. But this is a task that, frankly, no matter how much people want to help, there's not enough.
So we feed more than 850,000 people a month. It costs more than $20 million a month to feed families. So that's urgent. It's still important that we don't forget this community. It's still important that we support this community and that we make sure that women and children and those who are most vulnerable get the life-saving food that they need.
And so for many of the groups that are here, there's just not enough funding to meet the needs that we have.
We've got a lot of skin infections, skin disease, a lot of dehydration, diarrheal diseases. We've had a huge kind of mumps outbreak, and then diphtheria. Diphtheria is on the tail end coming down, but really malnutrition, then also a lot of kind of obstetrical needs.
Americans are generous, people are generous all over the world, so tell me, what do you need?
What do we need?
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
What do you need? Do you need, like, if here's your chance. Is there something,
yeah.
What would you like? What do you need here?
This is going to be here a long time, so I think more people is,
volunteers and
yeah.
people are in?
Yeah.
Do you see people with malnutrition coming through?
Oh, for sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, food, for sure, funding, always.
So this is where Dr. Collin will make a decision about what kind of treatment this child needs. And if it's treatment that we can provide here, we will make him an inpatient. So this is where all the decisions are made about what kind of treatment the child needs.
Who's organizing all of this?
It's a multi-group organization. We are connected with Doctors Without Borders, the Turkish Field Hospital, other organizations that are providing care. We all connect and talk and decide which patients should go where.
I mean, it's incredible, all these organizations here. There are almost 1 million people in all these camps.
Absolutely.
We've hiked into the inner part of the refugee camp, at least this particular one, through all the mud up and down the hill. It's very slippery, and the reason we've come to this home is that one of the children in this home was treated at Samaritan's Purse, treated for diphtheria, and they thought the child was not going to make it. But this is one of those good stories.
So this child came in very sick with diphtheria. He was having respiratory distress. We had to work several hours with him to get the antitoxin into him. So he was really struggling to breathe, and we really thought we were going to lose him for a few moments there. Actually, for a while, we thought we'd lose him.
How old is he?
He is 2.5.
Did you have to intubate him?
We did intubate him.
Which is, you put something in his mouth, it goes down his throat, and then you use like a bladder because you don't have enough. We're not here in the United States at some hospital. You've explained this to me, is that it's a field hospital, is that you have to keep pumping. How long did someone have to keep pumping that?
Hours.
Hours and hours to help him breathe.
Yes.
And you saved him.
We did.
What a great story. Oh, he's got the boots
And here he is.
on. He's got his boots on. Oh, he's not happy though. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh dear.
And there he goes.
It's daunting some days, but I think we're making progress. Things like providing education to adolescents, providing livelihoods opportunities, providing skills training, and just things to occupy people's time is something that's really important. If we can get that recognition that this will be a longer-term crisis and we can get permission to start implementing some of those types of activities like the formal education, that we can help to sort of counterbalance some of the idleness that comes with displacement.
In the area known as Camp 13, I met a boy whose name we've changed because of concerns for his safety if he returns home. Hamid has been drawing about his life. He has seen and gone through things a child should never have to experience.
He did this artwork?
He did this.
Did all about it. It says my worlds, but can you explain it?
These are the places where I lived.
So, what's this?
This house was burned to the ground.
And that's his house.
Yes, this was my home.
What's the hand for?
I saw a hand that had been cut off of someone, and there was blood.
So this represents a hand that he saw where? In the ground, just on the ground?
People were slaughtered, and there were dead bodies on the ground.
So now there's a line. Why did he draw a line down the middle? This is his new life?
One side is for my life in Myanmar, the other side is for my life in Bangladesh.
What's this?
That's the boat we used to cross the border.
Who are these, like, people?
The teachers are teaching the children.
And this?
Thank you. That is an owl.
Oh, it's an owl? What's the noise the owl makes? No? All right, well, I'm not going to do it for you. Tell him I hope that he continues to do his art. How do you say thank you? Shukriya. What is it?
Shukriya.
Shukriya. He laughed. I'm not very good at Shukriya. Is that like what? Like not so good? Oh, well, I tried, right? Shukriya. I tried.
I think when you look at the number of Rohingya refugees in the camps, it's a daunting figure. But when you break down those figures and you are in the camps engaging with these individuals, you realize they're just like you and me.
Hi, hello. Hello. Where'd you learn that? Bye-bye.
They are mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons and daughters. I mean, their hopes and dreams are no different from our own hopes and dreams for our children and our communities.
I want to be a teacher. I want to be able to provide for my family.
It's quite heartbreaking to be here and see the catastrophe that could happen to these people and knowing that much of the world doesn't care or doesn't know about it. So it's devastating to me to see this entire people group who have such great needs not being shown in the public, not being broadcast in the United States. No one really knows about it, and it's really hard to see that.
Recently, I was in the camp a couple days ago, and there was a father with his newborn baby who's, I think, days old, and the baby was sick, but he just sort of had this glassy look. And that comes from sustained periods of hardship and trauma. People are very resilient. However, you can see the experience of suffering and traumatic experiences lived in their expressions, in their eyes.
Don't you think I'm very sad? I've given up my home in Myanmar. Lots of people were killed in Burma. I've suffered so much. Here in this camp we are having a miserable life, yet I don't feel anything for life in Burma. Here I'm getting lots of assistance. They have built my home out of tarps, so at least I have a roof over my head. If I go back to Burma, who will look after me? I lost my husband, and my son is gone. I escaped here. I have shelter and food, so for that I am thankful.
I think we're at the stage now where we need to be collectively recognizing that this is not a short-term crisis. These people are not leaving next week. They're probably not leaving next month. And I think we need to be prepared for the possibility that they're going to be here for many months, if not years to come.
Here in the camps, the days drag by. More than 1 year after they were attacked and run out of their villages, the Rohingya remain in Bangladesh. Citizens and governments are now working together on their behalf, but what will happen to them? And they are not alone. More than 60 million people around the world are counted as refugees or involuntary migrants. All have their own stories of hardships, secrets, and great need. They all face uncertain futures. But no matter where they are, they all look ahead with hope. The hope that one day
KTN News. Get the whole story.
Since I was a child, since I started growing up, I knew I was meant for greatness from when I was playing football. If I played football, I probably would have been one of the best footballers in the world. That's how I feel. Because I always put in the required work and put some more extra work, because in every aspect of life, no matter what you want to do, you need to put in the work. You need to, because you can dream and relax, and you can dream and work. But you have to dream and work. That's how dreams come to pass. So I always knew if I have a big dream and I put in the work and I believe in myself, with God, everything is possible. So yeah, that's the mindset.
Join me this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time only on KTN News. I'll be your host, Pasil Telewa, and I'll be hanging out with
the original Wonder Band in Badman there. You know what time it is. Boom, pop.
See you then.
Tunaweza kusema hapana, huku ndio tunafanya nauliza mochari akasema
I was already 26 years, actually used to be age mate with my teachers.
Kaniambia mimi sitaki life yako ya crime.
Kumbe all this time the guy had someone else who was already pregnant and had already been introduced home.
Ni changamoto sana pale ghetto ama mtaani.
Kwani hakuna kitu poa inaweza toka ghetto.
Just as those people came through for me, I want to come through for another child.
You are watching KTN News. The newest, most entertaining, educative, and informative platform is here.
We want to take you on a musical journey.
KTN Plus is a platform that brings you exclusive, informative, and educative news and current affairs features and shows on farming, health, business, innovation, and tech. Name them.
Support.
Ayimba was dreaming big.
You will also find our top investigative stories, documentaries, reality shows, dramas, soaps, movies, and social experiments. Not forgetting KTN classics such as Jicho Pevu, Case Files, Untold Stories, and ridiculous.
At times I watch clothes, at times I even leave.
Okay, it's a wild town.
Watch all these on the KTN Plus website, www.ktnplus.com. You can also download the KTN Plus app on Google Play Store or the iOS App Store. KTN Plus, your gate pass to exclusive content. KTN News. Get the whole story.
Just gotta get higher. Mommy! Look how high I'm going. Look!
Nuggie, you ready? Come on, we gotta go practice.
But I want to go play with Barbie.
Don't argue, you're going.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, ready? Come on.
Ow.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Ooh. Now, oh.
Okay, undo that. Okay. Now we're gonna push it forward. See where it sits? That's where you want it. Did you want to get his eye booger?
No!
Why?
Ew. Why'd you get his eye booger? Okay, I like to get my eye boogers, but gross. Why would you get a horse's eye booger? Okay, can you flip that over? Please? Oh, I got it.
You are not helpless.
Sorry.
You can do this stuff.
Okay, stitch.
I really try to promote independence.
Can you hold my stool? Still, you can never be too careful. I did it all by myself. Time to get settled. Mommy?
Baby?
The gate?
Okay. Hurry, 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 keep going. Pick up the whip. Wow. Pick up the whip, babe. Pick up your whip, sister. Babe. Brando, stop. I need you to get that whip and you keep him going, okay? I want to see him moving. Don't stop and trot the barrels.
I'm trying not to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Get the whip.
But you're pushing me.
Get the whip and make him behave. Good. Go. Go. Great. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Hurry. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Hurry. Pick it up. Hand down. Hand down. Down. Okay, that was good. Let's do poles.
Good boy. Good boy. I love you.
When you get back down there and you're fixing to head back, go around it 2 times before you head back. Okay?
Where's the plane?
You're not listening.
Yes, I am.
Anyways, listen. Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Go around it 2 times and then come home.
Can I do it 4?
Whatever. Just more than once, okay? And I want you to ride 2-handed. Go, go, go. Pick up that whip. Brando, get that whip. I'm not even joking.
I'm sorry, I just can't. I'm sorry.
When you get to this pole, I want you to reach down and grab that whip. Why?
Mommy, I'm just scared that he's gonna like kick it.
How's he gonna kick it? His feet are down there and the whip's up there.
Like he may go fast enough and I may knock the pole down.
It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to do is
Yes, it does. If I knock the pole down, it's a no time and I don't get a time, and that means I don't get a point.
Stop talking. This is not for time. This is for practice. We are practicing our speed drills. Go again. You want to start a little further back and get going faster?
I'm making him do it.
What is your deal?
I don't know.
What is this I can't stuff?
I don't know.
What's on your right hand? Okay, grab it. Whacking. That's what you do. When he won't go, that's all that you do. Stop whining now. There's no crying in rodeo. All right, go through it again. Use your right hand. I'm serious.
I just don't like pole.
It is hard, but if you'll listen, you'll be better. You just gotta keep working.
I'll never be better.
You can do it. You have the power. Anyone that does any sort of event with rodeo, if they know my dad, and they do. I mean, he is just widely well known in the industry. No matter where I went, somebody would say, you know, oh, hey, I know your dad. Oh, hey, you know, you're Charlie Thomas's daughter. That's awesome, you know. And that made me feel like a person. It made me feel cool. But as far as like coming to a rodeo that he wasn't already at just to watch me, no. Oh no, that wasn't gonna happen. But that was my life growing up. He didn't support me outside of what was convenient for him. You know, like I would do things to see if I could get attention from my dad. And then when I found the thing that worked, that's what I did. And it was winning. He gave me a lot of positive attention when I won. So I'm like, all right, cool, I gotta win. I can do this. And I did. I mean, I won a lot. I had a lot of success until I didn't. And then, because, you know, nobody can stay on top forever. I've been trying to figure this out my whole life, why he wouldn't let me be a part of things. He just kept me pushed away. He'd let me be around, but out here. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I was a girl and he didn't think a girl could do the things that the boys do, like with all the livestock, the bucking horses and the bulls and all that. I don't really know. Hello?
Hi. How's the hottest realtor in Texas doing?
It was good.
Okay.
Well, there's that. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm off Saturday, but I go back to work Sunday.
Gotcha. We wanted to see if there was any way possible you could come to Brindle's finals this weekend.
Okay, I doubt it. I am snowed under here with to do at the place. There's nothing going to do at the place for a long time.
Yeah?
So, anyway, I'm sorry I can't make it this week.
Come say hi, baby. Oh, yeah. She wants to say hi.
Yeah.
Hi, people.
Well, hi, Brenda. How are ya?
Good.
What you been doing?
Riding horses.
Are you ready for summer to come and have a vacation? Are you going to come stay with me?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Okay. All right.
All right, well, we're going to get on, and she's got to practice.
Okay. Brenda, I miss you.
I miss you too. Bye, people.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye, then.
Always the excuse. It's always what he says. He always has too much going on. It's better now because I've learned how to deal with it, and you just learn what it is. You know, you don't put hope into things really anymore. You know, I mean, I would be grateful if he came. I'd be very happy. And I'm like, I was even thinking about offering to fly him down, but I'm like, I can't afford that. Brindle's entry fees are already like $400. This is why I'm hard on her to practice, because we put a lot into it, and the horses just teach them that other level of responsibility. I learned that I, at that time, was very irresponsible with it. I was always nice to people. I never got arrogant, but I made a lot of money, but I blew it. I mean, I just blew it like I was Beyonce. But when it comes to an animal, that's a pure love. It's growing in her. At first, when she was young, she was like, they don't need to eat today. You know, and she would argue with me. I'd be like, baby, we gotta feed. But why? You know, and now she actually reminds me, Mommy, we gotta feed. I want her to be the best version of herself. That's what I'm trying to teach her with this.
Her foot is broken. Right there. She tripped on something. I don't know. The doctor doesn't ask that question.
Some sort of lighting on the 5th floor. Meaning it has a direct line of sight to the stage? It's gotta be it, right? I mean, that's our shooter.
He just made it. Protesters have all the streets locked off. It's a madhouse. Is he okay? He's a good man.
Mama. Hello. You better go tell Johnny a minute.
Good night, sweetheart.
It's already like real late.
Mind your mom.
Turn me upside down. Okay,
Put up, Ready?
Everybody, good night. Night. Bye.
Too.
You are my
sunshine, my only sunshine.
My only sunshine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 12, 13.
Hey, how many numbers does a clock have?
25,000.
I think I paid